My name's Tully Kennedy, and I'm from upstate New York. I moved to Nashville in January of 1996. Um, my family was pretty musical, and I started playing bass around 8 years old, and I played in bands from 14 till I was 20 around upstate New York and New England and Canada, cover bands, and moved here when I was 21. Um, wanted to play on records, wanted to do bigger things. So that's what brought me here. Um, my first week in town, I met a guy named Michael Knox, who was running Warner Chappell Publishing at the time, and I met him, and he kind of took me under his wing immediately, trying to get me. I told him I was a bass player. I wanted to play. I wanted to record on demos. I wanted to, it was pretty high hopes at the time for what I wanted to do. And he said he had just met this kid that he had met in Georgia named Jason Aldean. He wanted us to meet. So about that time, about maybe 2 weeks into my stay here, I met Jason Aldean, and we started writing and doing demos together, and just kind of learning how to be in the studio together at that point. And that led to numerous other things. That was kind of my first introduction to someone in Nashville that had a resume. Was Michael Knox. My uncle, Roy Hurd, was actually a staff writer for Michael, which is how I met Michael. He kind of took me under his wing, and I didn't have any money, had one bass, and a great story. I think the first few months I was here, I got robbed, and I lost all the only amp I had. I lost, and I got a call. A producer friend of mine told Michael Rhodes about me, and Michael Rhodes called me up and got me a rig, which thank you, Michael. I thank him every time I see him, just because when you don't have any money and you've been robbed, that's something I needed. But it was a great support system here, which is why I love being in Nashville. It's supportive, and they were supportive of me. Guys like Michael Rose and Mike Brinardello gave me some great advice and got me started in the studio scene. Really pushed me along the way. Put me in contact with great people, and I hope this town. I hope that's one thing it never loses as it grows. Was the community of being supportive more than competitive, and it's been great to me. It's been it's fulfilled every dream I've ever had, being in this town, playing music for a living at high levels, and living in the studio, which is always what I wanted to do. Yeah, being able to record the albums with Aldean and as a band, and take that band on the road, was unheard of then when we did it. We started doing that in 2003. And we started making demos together in 90, like I said, 97, 98. We made a lot of demos together and got experience in being a band, and growing and learning how to be in the studio and record. But when we started making those records, taking that band in the studio and taking it on the road was something that we always wanted to do. Like a Mellencamp did it that way. Tom Petty did it that way. Steve Miller. Even guys that we really look up. Bob Seger. That's what we wanted to do, and be like the heartbreakers of country music. Which is extremely fulfilling, and that's been a lot of years now. But then, it was kind of different to do it that way. I hear about that happening now, and I kind of feel like, in a good way, we had a positive effect on that. That it is okay for records to sound different, and it can be a positive thing. It separates the artist, separates the song sound, separates the production from everything else. So it's been awesome. I mean, this town is, like I said, extremely supportive of newcomers, especially someone like myself who was a northerner, which was another thing that was rare. There wasn't, I remember when I moved here, it just wasn't a kid from upstate New York who I really grew up playing, songs by the Police and U2 and Tom Petty, and it was different for me to move here, but I always wanted to play on songs. I never had a dream of being a chops guy doing a solo record. It was always about playing for the song. I wanted to play songs like U2 did. I want to play songs like Tom Petty did, and create bass lines for those songs. And there's no better town in the world for that than here. It's the best songs in the world here. So I felt that's why I kind of fit in my own little way, was I really tried to bring something outside the box to the song. And hopefully, that will continue.